Well, good morning, Real and Raw. We are here this morning and we're going to make some calcium acetate or CalMag. Is another thing that we can add magnesium to it in the form of Epsom salt after we have a finished product. So what we're going to start with today is this. So we will start with our farm fresh eggshells and we're going to bake them in the oven for 45 minutes. At just a low temperature at about 250 degrees. And that's going to help dry them out so that when we put them here in the blender, they're going to get really nicely pulverized. And so we're going to do that. And it's very loud, but the blender does a great job of pulverizing these eggshells. And what you end up with then is this, the pulverized eggshells themselves. After running through the blender, and here, this is what they look like. Pretty finely ground, and so this is, this is several, many dozens of eggs. Let's see what we have here. I'm not sure how much the container weighs, but we'll weigh the whole thing. So we've got a little bit over, we have 2 pounds and 5.5 ounces, or 5.7 ounces. So yeah, we have at least 2 pounds of eggshells here. Now what you're going to do with the eggshells is you're going to mix them with 5% vinegar at a rate of 1 to 10. And that is by weight, not by volume. So we're going to be measuring this out. And we'll be putting them into these gallon jars here. These are glass jars. And yeah, they're all cleaned out. They were pickle jars. We're going to make 2 batches of it today. And so we don't want to fill these up more than about half to 2/3. If we do, when this starts to bubble and foam and give off the carbon dioxide, it's going to end up overflowing on us, and we don't want to see that. So we're going to do it about half full, maybe a little bit more, and we're going to do the 1 to 10 ratio of eggshells to vinegar in each one of these. So in the end, we'll have a finished product of about 1 gallon of this. Now, it takes about 2 days. So after 4, and we're going to loosely cover this with like a coffee filter. So, and a rubber band so that it can off gas, but things can't get in there. We don't want flies and gnats and things like that getting in. Now, it takes about 2 days, so 48 hours. We're going to watch it bubble for about 48 hours. At that time, it should be done bubbling or gassing off of the CO2. And then what we want to see is we still want to see eggshells in the bottom. If for some reason we didn't add enough eggshells, they're all going to dissolve. And the ratio of vinegar to eggshells wouldn't have been correct. And we won't have a controlled solution then when we're finished. So if that's the case, if after 48 hours the bubbling has stopped and there's no eggshell residue left in the bottom, we're going to need to add more eggshells and wait another 48 hours. That is our best indication as to when this is going to be to the proper solution. So the 5% vinegar and it's a 1 to 2 kind of thing. So we'll end up with a 2.5% calcium acetate when we're finished. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started weighing some stuff out here, and we're going to go from there. So we're going to start with, this is a pitcher here. This is a half-gallon pitcher. So we'll probably go ahead and start with that, and we're going to zero that out. And as we zero that out, we'll go ahead and open up a vinegar here. Nothing special about the vinegar. Don't need name brands or anything like that. That's not important. 5% is what we're doing our ratios to. There are other vinegars that are, more potent. all the way up to, I think, even 40 or maybe even higher than that percentages for agricultural use. But we're going to go ahead and use this regular 5% vinegar. And so it's a distilled white vinegar. You can also use a brown rice vinegar, but it's a little more costly. All right, so here we've got 4 pounds and 3 ounces. So let's bring this up here. There we go, 4 pounds, 4 ounces. All right, so if we wanted, be nice to get it up to 5 pounds. If we get it up to 5 pounds of vinegar, I'm not sure it's all going to fit in this pitcher, but we're going to see if we can get it in there. It's not all going to fit in the pitcher, but I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 5 pounds of vinegar, and then we'll do a half a pound of eggshells in each one of these jars. So we have 4 pounds, 10 ounces, so we're still going to need another 6 ounces of vinegar to go in this jar. And what we're going to do is set this aside. And we'll go ahead and we will weigh out our half a pound of eggshells here. So we'll tear this out. And we'll see. I'm not sure if this is going to be big enough for half a pound, but we're about to find out. Let's see what we got here. No, it's going to be about 2 of those because that's 4.5 ounces. So we'll go ahead and do 4.5 ounces in here. And then we'll get another scoop. We're looking for 8 ounces total. So that's 4 ounces. So, and it won't hurt to do a little more. There's 3.8 ounces. We're gonna call that good because we don't want to not have enough eggshells in there. All right, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pour this vinegar in, and we're going to see how that works, and make sure we're not making a big mess here. We still know that we need 6 more ounces of vinegar on top of this. Pouring that in is mixing pretty well. You can see the dust coming up from the eggshells. They're very finely pulverized. Whew. So we're going to zero that out again. Add 6 more ounces. There we go, 6 ounces, dead on. Right, you can kind of see what's going on here. Eggshells, some of them are floating, some of them are sinking, but I don't know if you can see this, but you can really see it getting crazy down here. So these are all gassing off. CO2 is coming off of there very quickly. I think we got just about the right amount in there. You can see the bubbles forming up here on the surface. And there, that one's going well. So let's go ahead and do the next one. So we're going to start again. We're going to do about a half a pound of eggshells. And this is something that we're not going to need all of this. Oh, we got to weigh that first. Let's see. I'm going to tear this out, zero it out. See how many we get there. 4.7 ounces. Okay. 4.7. We're going for 8. So we need 3.3 here. Or maybe just a little bit more. So 3.6. That'll be just a little bit more. That'll be good. Again, trying to ensure that we have enough eggshell in there to complete the reaction fully, and then we'll end up straining off the eggshells and discarding them probably into the compost bin. All right, so now we're going to go again and we're going to tear this. Again, all of this is by weight. It is not by volume. So now we're looking for 5 pounds of vinegar. So right there we have 3 pounds, 11.3 ounces. So that means we're going to need, so that's almost 4 pounds. So we're going to need 1 pound, 5 ounces more of vinegar. Put that there. Maybe you can see it start to fizz and bubble. It's mixed up pretty good just by pouring it in there. Yeah, over the next 2 days, you'll want to stir it occasionally. That'll be beneficial for it, in case any of those eggshells are trapped in there. All right, so we're looking for 1.5 ounces. 1 pound, 5 ounces, sorry. 1 pound, 5 ounces. All right, 1.55, 5.5 ounces. That'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. So yeah, it's not critical that everything is exactly perfect, because you can test your results by what happens in 2 days, if there are still eggshells or if there are eggshell residues still there. So wow, you can really see that one bubbling up quite a bit. And this one here, should be able to see that. You see that all bubbling? It's all kicking those eggshells up into the solution. It's gassing off CO2, carbon dioxide. So there, that pretty much completes this portion. Wow, it's really going over here. That's the one we just did. So we're going to mark down that we did this today. And in 2 days, we'll be back and check it, and we will maybe give an update along the way. But now we're going to go ahead and place coffee filters on here, a rubber band around that probably. And that way the vinegar, vinegar can attract fruit flies and things like that. We don't necessarily need them in there. It's not going to hurt anything, I guess, if they do get in there. But yeah, yeah, this is a lot. So the rates that you actually use this, we would use this a couple different ways. We can use this if we're deficient in calcium, and deficiency in calcium is going to cause things like blossom end rot on your peppers and on your tomatoes. And if we do have that situation, we're only going to use 1 teaspoon of this per gallon of unchlorinated water. And use that to water our plants with. It can be used as a foliar spray. The vinegar, the acid in here, will be totally neutralized by these shells. So we will have a neutral solution. We're not going to have to worry about, you hear people talking about using vinegar for weed controls by killing weeds. This will no longer be vinegar when we're done with this. This is a chemical reaction. We can actually taste this when we're done at 48 days. And there should be little to no vinegar taste whatsoever. So that's another way that we can check to make sure that the reaction has gone fully. So, yeah, so here we go. And we'll go ahead and get these capped up, and we'll check back maybe in a day, and then again in 2 days at 48 hours. Good morning, Real and Raw. We are back here, and this is about 24 hours later. We are here looking at our calcium acetate, and we can still see that we've got a lot of shells here in the bottom, and that there's still a bunch of little pieces floating around in there as they're being raised up to the top. So we will check back with you in another day and let you know how it's going. Good morning. Here we are on the second day, but it's in the morning, so we're probably at about hour 40, and I want to bring you in for a close look. You can still see that it is, you know, the shells are moving up. They're gassing not nearly as much as they were before, and we're going to go ahead and give them a stir then too. Let me bring you in closer so that you can see that. So I'm not sure how well you can pick it up. You might be able to. Yeah, I haven't touched it at all. You can see a little bit going on in there. Not much at all, but a little bit. So we'll go ahead and we'll give it a stir here. Kind of give things a little bit of a boost. Anything that's trapped in there, go ahead and get them untrapped in the bottom. Good contact with the vinegar. And then, you know, I might go ahead and taste it now and see what it's like. Oh yeah, so it's actually almost sweet. That's interesting. Yeah, it doesn't really taste like vinegar at all. No way. Give it a smell test. No, it does not smell like vinegar at all. And it does. It has a sweet kind of taste to it almost. So real interesting. So our reaction is pretty much done. Wow, that's so interesting. So we will go ahead and probably strain this off later this afternoon when we get back, and we will have lots of calcium acetate for this year for the garden and for others who might want it, because we've got more than we're going to need here. We're going to end up straining off and having more than a gallon of calcium acetate, so that's going to be quite a bit for one person.